Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance Live Show number 56. Baby! We're ready to rock the house. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We got the fix to Bastila. So, Bastila's got a leader ability that apparently works. Didn't work when I was testing her, but now she does. So, she could actually end up being the new meta, is what a lot of people are saying. But I am joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host of the Alliance Live Show, good old Maurice. How you doing today, bud?
Doing swell. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic now that you're here. And I'm also joined by somebody who used to have a segment on the live show a long time ago when we first started. He used to be called the Swindler's Minute. I'm joined by the Swindler himself, Castaspella. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing awesome, man. Glad to be here, and let's talk some Star Wars.
Castaspella is in the house. We're going to talk some scoundrels, obviously. But first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about Bastila, or Bastila, as she's supposed to be called, and see what you guys think. I mean, have you guys had a chance to test her out? Have you seen anybody who's running her as a lead in Arena? And
Not yet.
I'm gonna run her right now, and we'll see what she looks like.
Josue, you here? Are you on the call, Josue?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there he is. Okay, yeah. We got Josue here tonight too. We're gonna do a roster review for him while Remon fiddles around with these new characters. It's gonna be pretty. This is cool. I've been holding off on any Zetas until I watch you fiddle with them tonight. So
Okay, so
you gotta sell me.
we're gonna play around a little bit with the Jedi now, and yeah, Josue, we're gonna do the roster review a little bit later after the top five and the meta report. So just hold on that for right now. I'm actually going to pull up his roster on screen so we can look at it all together.
Well, I messaged him and he said he's actually got Bastila pretty much as complete as she can be for him. So this would be a good little preview for the investment he's wanting to make with these Jedi. So this is good. This is good. Good that you're here. So
Thanks, appreciate it.
yeah, man.
So we're going to take a look here at Bastila lead in Arena against a Palpatine lead with Traya and the Triumvirate and Grand Admiral Thrawn. And this is a pretty well-modded team here. So we're going to see how they fare. So first and foremost, let me do an area of effect here with Yoda. Wow, it's all on one speed. Let's go back to 4 times speed. I think the best thing to do here now, let me reduce Grand Admiral Thrawn's turn meter. And let me call Ezra in with the Master's Training. Now I'm going to use General Kenobi's assist to try to get rid of Grand Admiral Thrawn, because that is, getting fractured is really annoying. So we just want to avoid that altogether. All right, now that Yoda's got a bunch of buffs, I'm going to spread these buffs to the squad. Okay, and then I'm going to call Yoda in to attack Sion with Bastila. Okay, so now they both have that buff. Legendary Master's Training. Again, I'm going to do an area of effect here, and then Yoda's going to go again. This is like destruction here.
Oh, you're gonna crush Palpatine leads with Bastila, man. You're gonna crush. But the question is how is she going to do versus Traya with all that, negative offense she gives when you get buffs? Like, that's the question, and that's why I've personally been hesitant to invest in them, because my shards already pretty much moved to Traya leads. So that concerns me a little bit, but I guess
I still think Trey is the future. I got to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's she's kind of anti-buff. So ultimately, I think that like what this team does kind of feeds right into Trey lead, sort of, in my opinion.
But yeah, I think there's a way around that. I'm sure we're going to be talking about additions to the team a little later, but as I was sharing with you guys before we got started, I've got I think that there's some other characters that can really open up that team and compete against the Trey Elite, which it is just brutally powerful. But once you're talking about Fulcrum Ahsoka, she's not going to suffer from all that offense down when she does her big whirlwind attack. She's going to burn off her offense down penalty during the turn where she uses her charge up, and then she's going to swing for the fences, and very, very capable of one-shotting heroes when she's fully charged up in a Bastilla team.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much, domination here. To be honest with you, this looks like we're going to just take out Nihilus here. And that's pretty much a wrap. That's all she wrote. So, yeah, I mean, she's super meta. I don't know, again, how she's going to fare against a Traya squad, like you said earlier. So let's actually go into a match against a Traya lead with Sith Trooper. This is pretty much a team that's a nightmare to face because, Traya's getting protected by two separate taunts. Obviously, Scion, if he's able to get Hatred before you can get to him, then that's going to be a real big problem. And she's going to keep Kenobi pretty much isolated this entire match. So, he's going to be rendered pretty much useless from the start. So let's see what we can do here. I think I'm going to hold off on spreading buffs for right now and just kind of work on Sith Trooper a little bit. I'm going to use Ezra here to attack Sith Trooper.
But that's a good point you actually make, that Kenobi is going to be worthless because he's just going to get isolated, right?
Right.
But under Bastila lead, any tank will pre-taunt with that Zeta, right? So if that tank's just going to get isolated anyway, I mean, you've got Plo Koon, you have Mace Windu, you have worthless characters that you can get nothing out of TW-wise. So you could make them the Kenobi, basically use Mace Windu under Bastila to eat the isolate, eat a fracture, and just that's it. They've served their purpose because Kenobi's not going to do anything anyway if he's isolated. But so you can pull off GK for another team,
She didn't isolate Kenobi this time. She isolated Bastila. Okay, so that's not good.
No, that's not good at all.
That's not good. But what we can do from this is it seems like we're not doing any damage to Sith Trooper at all. I mean, he's just taking all that. But yeah, what I'm saying is, besides the fact that you're going to be isolated, Kenobi's going to be isolated the whole time. It's like, I mean, any tank will be, but I'm starting to think that maybe old Ben might be a better option than Kenobi as the tank in this team.
You could be right. I'm looking up Old Ben now just so I don't misspeak, but he has some sort of passive ability, does he not? I'm sitting here looking at Jedi tanks, even though they might not even taunt, just some with a passive ability. Whenever another Jedi or Rebel take he gains turn meter. I guess he won't benefit from that if he's isolated, but.
Will Old Ben's taunt, so when Bastila gives him the taunt in the beginning, will his taunt come back up if he gets fractured?
No,
or is
not
from
that one.
The ability?
Yeah, it's a special taunt. It's much like on Holdo, only when the Foresights she give expire do you get one of the bonuses. So it's at least the way it's worded, it says when this taunt expires. So as it's stated in the kit, it would not include that initial taunt. I was stoked when I first read that because I had the same question, and I went and read Old Ben's kit, and I thought, oh darn, that would have been really awesome.
Yeah, that would probably be OP though.
we got rid of Sith Trooper. Okay, let's we gotta. I should heal here, but we need. We need Jolie Bindo. We need Jolie Bindo right now to the rescue to save the Jedi. Okay. Yeah, I gotta heal.
Nihilus is gonna annihilate probably next turn. Yeah.
Not only that, he's gonna do this, and After that, he's going to have next turn. He's definitely held by hatred without a doubt. Let's stun, please stun.
Well, somebody's getting annihilated.
Yes, yes. Well,
Yeah, but you've got a minute left, buddy. You got 1 minute to go.
Hopefully it's Kenobi that gets annihilated. Let's just this is we're not doing anything.
That's what concerns me, because I mean, you just lose so much offense. You're sitting there not doing any damage. You just like time out.
No, we just got destroyed. That was pretty much the end of it. I mean, we're gonna last the duration of the match here, but that's only because there's only 40 seconds left. But oh man, that was horrible.
How about
this team is so annoying. This team is so annoying, man. I mean, just Jesus. Why is this team so hard? I was having.
How about putting in Nest instead of instead of Hermit Yoda? Put in Nest with that team.
That's an idea.
Get around that taunt from Sith Trooper.
Oh, this is putrid. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this match is over, and we're gonna go into the next. But I mean, I still think there was a chance there, right? Like, I mean, I think there's maybe just a missing component, but I think that team could beat that team. I think we could beat that team.
You're gonna have a real difficult time killing Nihilus at the end of the match. We
weren't stuck on Sith Trooper for like 15 minutes. I mean, there might have been a chance there. I mean, the fact is that Sith Trooper just. What I'm thinking is maybe get rid of Hermit Yoda and bring in Jolie Bindo. I don't know. Hermit Yoda's kid is better. But it's almost the same, right? I mean, like Jolie Bindo calls in assist too.
Yeah.
Let's try it because of the revive. I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. I'm going to take out Kenobi and I'll put in Old Ben. I'll try it. If any of you guys have any suggestions out there, please, by all means, let me know.
This is an interesting team.
All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, area effects.
The star is saying get rid of GK and put in Fulcrum.
But then you get no synergy.
Oh my gosh, Fulcrum has such amazing synergy on this team.
You think so?
I am so hot for Fulcrum on the Jedi team. I think Ezra's out, Fulcrum's in, especially against the Traya lead, because she sidesteps all that offense down. She's the only person on the team that can swing really hard because that penalty from Traya just wrecks it.
Ooh, Kenobi with that ability block on everybody. That's sweet. Okay, let's call in Yoda to assist
until they go and it just disappears.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The turn meter down counts and sticks, and getting that before, I mean, it's reminiscent of the Poe Old Ben meta from way back in the day.
It's so disgusting. So disgusting. All right, let's taunt with Old Ben. Dirty Old Ben. Oh, again? Didn't you just do that? Was his cooldown reduced like that fast? He just did that.
Yeah, but you don't really know. I don't think unless you just have like a super keen eye, you don't really know who Traya gave the boost to. Well, I guess they get protection up. Looks like she gave it to Scion.
Oh, this is going down south real fast. Okay, let's get out of here. This team, actually.
You might as well just try to revive with Jolie just to look at it.
just give it a chance. I mean, I do have Jolie Bindo just to see it. Let's see what happens.
If he ever gets to go.
He's so slow.
They both are. Like, you look at their SWGOH, you're like, oh, 132 is not bad. Yeah, it is, because they're including those two new pieces now.
He brought back the whole team. It brought back the whole team.
That's pretty awesome.
It is
What's up,
awesome
Blackbeard?
until they're all dead again, and
Well, they do have crit. They have crit immunity for 5 turns. That's silly. It's like
but I
just give them
can't.
crit immunity for 5 turns.
But I can't do anything. I mean, like Sith troopers. Like, why is he so beefy? Why is he so beefy?
Because you got to make your Sith troopers IPD proof. Just make them as tanky as possible.
This is a joke. Oh. Oh. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it right there.
Yeah, just go ahead.
I'm just gonna go ahead and call it and say that team didn't work. Okay, so we're gonna try again, and this time we're gonna get rid of Old Ben. We're definitely gonna get rid of ridiculous Jolie Bindo, and we'll try your suggestion, Casaspella, and because we'll try Fulcrum. And
A lot of people are saying Fulcrum in the chat. You got 3 or 4 people that have said
some
it.
people in the chat are saying Fulcrum. I say Fulcrum. Okay, so we're gonna go with Fulcrum, and who's the 5th?
I'd say go Hermit and Old Ben instead of Ezra.
Instead of Ezra? What about the
Yeah,
damage?
man.
What about the damage?
You're swapping him for Fulcrum. She's better damage anyway.
Okay.
He
Hermit.
does not sound happy about this move.
I know, but I tell
Ramon
you, man, that is the
Ezra.
way to get around all of that offense down that Trey is lathering on because of all the buffs. It just sidesteps it completely. She takes a free turn right after she charges herself up. She doesn't suffer the penalty.
After seeing what happened to Old Ben last time, I mean, I don't even know if I want to see Old Ben again. I mean, Old Ben was he was like a paperweight out there.
Well, I mean, he's a lot like Kenobi, gonna get fractured. He can still taunt. He's roughly the same, got the same ability to stay alive. And on top of that, he's got the quick turn meter down,
All
which
right,
buys you a little bit of extra time.
We'll give it a shot. We will give it a shot. Okay.
Well, if anything, these demonstrations show the difference between a Palpatine and Traya lead. Like, you went in there and just decimated that Palpatine lead. But Traya leads is a little more difficult with this team.
I had a debate with Warrior about this the other day, and I don't know why. He sent me a DM, and he was like, "You really think that Traya lead's better than a Palpatine lead?" And I was like, "Yes." You know what I mean? And I don't know. He didn't really disagree with me, but he's basically saying that like the meta right now is Palpatine, and he's right because it is. I mean, like right now, not a lot of people have 7-star Gear 12 plus double Zeta Traya. Okay, I mean because that's what this is. I mean that's the absolute Traya right there. I mean you cannot get stronger than that Traya. So I mean. Okay, maybe try this a little bit differently, right? Okay, maybe we try to stun Sith Trooper here and dispel. Okay, give him ability block, and then maybe we go with.
Well, he isolated Old Ben. She did. That's not terrible.
Well, let's just do this. Okay.
I think Traya is a much better lead. I really do, and. If you have the mods for it. You gotta have better mods for it, that's true, but it's just I don't know. I don't know.
Like I completely misused Fulcrum Ahsoka this time. I'm gonna try this again. But this time I'm gonna go in there with Fulcrum. I think I'm gonna give the buffs to Yoda first and then let Fulcrum take them. And maybe that'll give her enough turn meter to go before Scion does.
Well, pass the buffs with Bastila to Grandmaster Yoda. Do Grandmaster Yoda's AOE move, then he gets another turn, and then spread them all out, and you'll pop 10 buffs on everybody.
It doesn't work like that though, because right now I'm not gonna get a chance to go again with Grandmaster Yoda. Let me just call Grandmaster Yoda in here for the assist. That'll give him some turn meter. Now I'm gonna give Grandmaster Yoda the buffs. And then he gets... Oh, you're right. I do get to go again. But I get to spread these buffs now. Okay, let's reduce turn meter here. Yes.
Hey, there you go, yeah. There you go. Bam.
Now we get Fulcrum going. And we will try to work on Sith Trooper here. Bam! That did nothing. He's still got full health.
Well, it took away all his protection, didn't it?
Yes, you're right. I'm just being kind of pessimistic, I guess. Come on.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
oh.
This one's going to crush it, and you're going to have to own up to the Fulcrum, and you can't stick a pain on her. Oh, she's wonderful in this squad.
Looks like you're right. I mean, I just gotta, I gotta take out Sith Trooper first. He just seems to be gaining and gaining health.
Well, the good thing about Bastila is it's only a 2-turn cooldown on that Dispel move, so she gets to do it every other turn. That's pretty nice.
Come on, man. It's like Scion keeps going with that AOE all the time, man. It's like it's not,
Well,
it's not fair.
because someone Dylan said in the chat.
He's got full health again. Sith Trooper's got full health again. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, because
it's
Scion
ridiculous.
keeps AOEing you against debuff opponents, and every debuff that he hits all 5 of you, you're all debuffed, just fills it right back up.
It's like I'm just sitting there fighting Sith Trooper the whole time. I can't do anything but fight Sith Trooper. It's like, I mean, man, this is frustrating. Okay, well, I'm gonna. All right. Okay, we're gonna restart this. I'm gonna go in. I like this team though. You're right. This team does look pretty good. All right, let's see. Maybe I save the AOE like you said.
I think what you do is you try to get a couple of shots on Traya and get her killed. I'm not sure if that's going to work.
Where?
And
when can I attack Traya? I'm completely.
Don't you have a dispel?
I don't have a dispel anymore. Now that Ezra's gone, I have
What
nothing.
do you do? Bastila does. Bastila's got one on a 2-turn cooldown.
Bastila does have a dispel, yes.
So that's the move: is get that taunt out of there, and
And
then try to pick off Traya.
Yeah, this will be
Traya
difficult
falls,
to
it's
do.
over.
Because this is something you would have to mod properly, like a proper turn order to do so. Like it's going to be difficult to have 5 random characters thrown in there without really taking the time to build the team.
Oh,
you know,
come on, he needs to reduce that turn meter.
Yeah, I mean this team isn't tuned in a sense, where you thoughtfully pick their speed so that the turn order is appropriate.
Okay, let's take out. Oh. Okay.
I think you might be facing the tankiest Sith Trooper in the entire game. That thing is ridiculous.
This
It's so
is
crazy.
It's absolutely crazy.
I bet he's got 140,000 health and protection on that Sith Trooper.
Probably.
Which is the smart thing to do, because I mean that makes Traya impossible to defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Well, you can do
Yikes.
like Josue suggested. If you use Nest, every time Scion's going to AOE, Nest will counter and knock out the taunt from Sith Trooper. He suggested that a few minutes. Like Nest is good for this, even without the Zeta.
Take him out! Get out of there, Sith Trooper! Get out of there! Yeah! All right, I don't even care if we lose now. I'm just happy that he's off the board. I'm done with him. Okay, now I'm gonna fight somebody else for a change.
Until they get annihilated next turn by Nihilus.
Oh, it's over. Yeah, it's over at this point. I'm just gonna take out. I'm taking Palpatine down with me. I don't care if we all go down. Palpatine's coming with me.
Is he?
I don't know, man, but I'm trying. So as they keep increasing cooldowns. I mean, I'd love to take. Let's see here. Okay. Again with that, huh? You just want to bother me, Scion. You just want to bother me. Oh!
Oh, right before you're about to pop Palpatine too.
And then Palpatine gets like protection up, and I have nobody that does enough damage to take out. Even if I did, I can't call anybody in to assist here with this, so that's great. We're just gonna taunt.
Yeah, those 3 characters aren't going to accomplish anything together by themselves.
Yeah.
Bore you to death the next 50 seconds.
All right.
2 old men and their caretaker.
Okay.
Jared keeps saying the special damage works against Trooper, which it does. His his resistance isn't nearly as high as his armor. Keep calling in Grandmaster Yoda for the assist.
Mm.
Okay.
I think it's time to go ahead and sit Old Ben on the shelf. I don't think he's the answer.
Yeah, maybe we could do
Yeah.
this with Kenobi, because that additional cleanse would be nice.
Yeah, I think Kenobi is the answer. I mean, Old Ben is like 2016's meta. Let's get him out of there.
Yeah, he's better behind Bastilla than he's ever been, because he can get his turn meter down move across your opponents before they take a turn, which is incredible.
That was
the
cool.
pre-taunt factor. Both of those are things that make Old Ben great, but he still doesn't actually get it done. I mean, he doesn't hit hard.
Particular team, I think, versus other teams or different scenarios, Old Ben is a nice move. Because I mean, again, in TW, you want to get the most out of your characters, and if you can split off GK to another team, that's super valuable.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do a basic. I'm gonna call Yoda in. Then we are going to attack Sith Trooper.
Dane says, "I would love to have the chat assist me like this with my arena battles."
Well, this is how you do it. This is how you win. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this. Okay, and now I'm gonna call Yoda in. Oh, he went too fast. Okay, now let me steal the buffs. Okay, now she goes. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, the trooper's gonna bang him out. Still, not a bad start in comparison to last time. I mean, this is much better. Sith Trooper's like on his way out. Oh, did Palpatine really have to stun everybody that time?
Yes.
I mean, he had to stun every single Jedi. I mean,
have you ever played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes?
Yeah, you're right, Josue. I don't know. I should have been prepared for that.
What's interesting about this is, and kind of disappointing at the same time, Palpatine just shocked your whole team, and they had 150% tenacity. You know what I mean? From that leadership, because everyone had protection up. That is disappointing to see. that was either super lucky on that Palpatine shock, or it's just.
I'd be interested to take a look at the mods on this team you're facing. Both Palpatine and that trooper. I bet you that he's got, probably an unrivaled amount of health and protection on that character.
Maybe my mods aren't good enough. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, Palpatine's running about 140% potency. Just with trans lead. Sith Trooper's got about 800k health and protection. That Nihilus, oh my goodness. I'd imagine that Nihilus is going to be super tanky towards the end of the battle here.
Yeah.
Like that's
man,
going
I've had
to
a hard
be
time finishing them.
Without, I don't know if you'd be able to. It'd take you, he'd annihilate your team.
Oh.
It's one by one.
This is like a joke, man. It's like you hit Sith Trooper and he gains health. It's retarded. It's retarded.
It's a detriment to actually hit him.
60% of the time, it works all the time. Yes.
Why don't you try Bastila as support or something? Like use Grandmaster Yoda and try it. I don't know how awesome she is as support, but
isn't that what we did? I mean, okay.
The team ain't getting it done.
Like I said, try Nest.
It's gonna hurt.
Try Nest in place of Hermit Yoda, still with Fulcrum, because you're getting the days. You get a chance to stun.
Okay, so Bastila. The suggestion is Bastila, Hermit Yoda, Ezra, and Thrawn. Okay, so let's get rid of Kenobi. Let's get rid of Fulcrum. Let's go.
By the end of this stream, we will defeat this team with Bastila as the only Jedi left on this team. It's gonna be great. She's gonna be the only Jedi left.
The only person that matters that has to beat this team is Bastila. Everybody else can go. As long as we can prove that Bastila wins, then it was all worth it. That means it's worth putting a Zeta on her. Okay? Yes. All right. Thank you, Jared. Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate the donation. All right, let's see here. I'm going to do a basic. And now I'm going to... Who should I call in? Should I call in Yoda or Ezra?
Yoda.
Okay. Because Yoda gets the turn meter. I think that's the benefit there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call in Yoda again.
Calling Yoda for every assist.
Especially against Trooper.
Yeah, because Yoda is a support character from Ezra's assist, he'll get turn meter from that as well, plus his basic attack turn meter.
Okay, now we're going to call in Yoda again.
He's like a little Gatling gun in this lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to Area of Effect. Okay.
Jolie's got an assist too. You can just go back to back to back Yoda. Have Yoda go like 8 times in a row. It'd be pretty awesome. I might try to build that. I do like Jolie. I will like that character. That character is going to be money for PvE content, but
Jolie seems like he's pretty good. I mean, he just has like a... Yeah, he's just kind of getting outshined right now by Bastila, because her kid is kind of...
well, because Bastila, you could use that 3 and 4 star. Jolie, you really can't. Like Jolie, yeah, you can obviously, but his entire kit is based around his max health pool, and it's not very high at 3 and 4 star gear 11, and that's the problem I'm having with L3. Same sort of kit, and just plus you want to use them in the raids. You use Jolie with a double Zeta Hermit Yoda. Every time a Jedi dies, Hermit Yoda gets his cooldowns reduced. He can call in all the assists and stuff again, and then Jolie can just bring anybody that died right back up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This Fracture Sith Trooper. Yeah. No more Sith Trooper, baby. Fracture. Okay, so now we should probably work on Scion, right?
Oh, man. I don't see how this can work. That team is just so good. That Triumvirate.
You should message Wild Grunt and be like, hey, man, can you take some of your mods off?
No, we don't play like that. We don't play like that. We don't need help.
The Nest team is going to do some work here for us.
Nest hasn't left my arena team since I got it ready.
Mine's only 3-star. I'm bummed out.
That's plenty. It doesn't matter what star your Nest is.
Oh, my Yoda's like...
Really? I hear that, but you mean it?
Yeah,
I mean,
in arena.
Okay.
Yeah, arena offense, yes.
Oh,
as long as she goes first, you win. Well, you don't win, but you considerably increase your chances.
Yeah, I could win every attack on my shard with a Yoda lead. As soon as I swap over to Bastila, it's going to be a breeze. I'll probably win on auto attacking.
Oh.
So that's going to be easy, but and there's a couple of Treyas coming up, and it'll get harder and harder because my guys are all maxed out except for Bastila, and they're maybe just barely starting to gear their Treya. And I'm sure Treya's a gear pig, so I'm not looking forward to unlocking her here. I got 2 heroic Sith raids left.
She's not terrible. She just needs a lot of those Rancor droid callers. She's
those are the worst. Those are the worst.
She's very fair. I mean, for as good as she is, Kenobi was a nightmare to gear. She's nowhere difficult with that. You just got to get those droid callers.
Well, that's not easy.
I think it might be 2 stun guns, maybe 4 or 5 sets of Carbonis total. No stun cuffs, which is nice.
Probably fewer yellow eyeballs than the others, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to give up on this team for now. I'm going to try it again. Possibly the same squad. I'm going to see what we can do.
Well, I know you're getting punked, but it's good to show, that's the big question right now in the game. Is Bastila better than Yoda? Should I Zeta this? Should I Zeta him?
Mm-hmm.
It depends on your shard. If your shard is littered with Treya leads, Bastila might not be the answer. I mean, temporarily. She'll have use other ways in the game. I don't know if she's going to be the arena savior for you.
Right. Plus, I also want to give a shout out to Charlie C, as well as Vengeful Cruelty, for helping me out with my new logo. So if you guys have seen on the YouTube site, there's actually a new logo there. That's because of them. They're also helping put together a new Discord for my YouTube channel. So starting next week. I think somebody's just putting the bots in right now and stuff like that, getting it all set up. So starting next week, I'll have a link to that set up so you guys can all go check that out. And if you want to just jump in the Discord, we're going to have a whole bunch of cool stuff going on in there, and I'll try to do giveaways and Q&As and everything in that Discord. So I'll have that set up next week for you guys if you guys want to check that out.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a live voice chat during the show?
I think after the show we'll have a live voice chat. During the show, we have the opportunity to have people come in to the show from the voice chat. That's not a problem. But what I'm saying is after the show we'll do a post show like voice chat afterwards. I think even though I haven't fractured, I should just take out Sith Trooper like right now, because just get rid of him.
Yep.
While we're all playing this, if you guys have questions you want to ask us, go ahead and start typing them in. I pull them out during the show for later. So if you guys do have questions, it doesn't have to relate to exactly what we're talking about, just anything in the game. You can just type them in, and I'll grab them and put them on the sheet here. So
this team is like, okay, we need to see what's going on here with this team, because I don't know what's going on with the Sith Trooper.
You need to put Bastila on the bench. Basila's out.
His protection got a.
That's not overly impressive at all. I mean,
look at his armor. Well, that's mediocre as well.
It's really not that great.
It's the it's all
He's
the
just
buffs.
so good.
No, it's the Traya lead, man. You're getting so much offense reduction from spamming those buffs around. Every time you get a buff, you get less offense. You get a penalty to offense.
You do 50% less damage on your next attack.
Yeah.
So if you get 3 buffs, that means you're doing 12.5% damage next time. And if you get more, you're doing almost none. So I don't think it stops at just a 50% reduction. I think it continues to stack. So that's why I think Fulcrum is how you can muster a big hit on that team, even in the face of being based around using buffs.
The mods aren't that crazy, to be honest. I mean, there's only 70 speed on Nihilus, 80 speed on Scion, and she has like she has about 100 speed.
This team's very effective against Scions because you're allowed to almost ignore him during the first wave of the battle.
Mr. Wonderful, my Bodhi is doing just fine. Thank you for asking. He's actually sitting at the bottom of my inventory just waiting for gear, and he's going to get much love pretty soon. But my Traya is now gear 11, actually. So I have a gear 11 Traya on my team, 5-star, and I'm just waiting because I had to put the Zeta on Bodhi. Didn't have a Zeta for Traya, so I'm just waiting till I have 16 now, so I need 4 more Zetas, and I can Zeta my Traya. And honestly, I was actually in the air about whether I was going to Zeta Bastila or Traya first, because I mean Bastila's kind of making me think about it, but I think I'm going Traya because I mean, Jesus, she's outrageous. She's outrageous. Okay, so let's.
Well, she should be. She's right now. She's the hardest.
Absolutely.
The hardest content in the game. This is the only way to get her. Bastila. Well, she's great. I mean, you could just buy her or eventually farm her probably out of a single hard node like all the rest of these characters, So.
Well, marquee characters should be very good sometimes, like Nest and Bastila, as I still think she is excellent. And once the team is well tuned, it could just fall your way. It could be designed to just strip the taunt and one-shot that Traya. And in the near future, I'm only going to be facing 5-star Treyas, so they'll be easy pickings.
Again, Jared T, thank you for the donation. If you have a team that you want to see run in the arena, please just type it into the chat and I'll put that on for you. I'll put anything you want to see. I'm thinking maybe Nest and You know, I'm going to do this against Treya. I'm thinking
Nest and Fulcrum. I think that's
we don't need. You don't need. We don't think
that's
we
the
need.
powerhouse.
You don't think we need a tank?
I don't know.
Because I was thinking.
I think you need a damage dealer besides just Nest. So, and I think Fulcrum's
Because I was thinking.
Just perfect.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming you have the Zeta on Nest as well, so she does have a small stacking crit damage, and I mean these battles are lasting the full 5 minutes, so she might be hitting like a truck towards the end if it makes the door enough.
Good point.
It's so small, it's tough to see really over the course of a battle.
You know what? I'm gonna.
Later on in the raids, she'll just be once we have her at 7 stars, she'll just be a fiend.
I don't really know how to use her in the raid. I haven't really tried too much in the raid with her. I don't really know what to do. Just throw her in like a Zerg Treya down sort of situation. She just sits there and eats it. She doesn't do much damage, but
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna stun her. And work on Treya. Of course, it does absolutely nothing. At least that counterattack, like you said, from Nest, really kind of is good counter to Sith Trooper here.
well,
Yeah,
with
now
that
you
Zeta,
can largely ignore him.
yeah. I would go Palpatine first, man, just because I mean he doesn't give any sort of benefit to the other 3 triumvirate when you attack him. You beat on Trey, you beat on Scion, and Nihilus just gets turn meter. You know, if you debuff them.
Okay.
A counterpoint to that is the Emperor early on against the Bastilla lead does almost nothing.
Yeah. Because outside of Vader, those teams are generally slower. Just because I mean the whole trick is Vader goes first, drops the dots, removes the dots, gives the team turn meter, and Vader will go first, not drop any dots. You know that I mean won't land anything really.
Right. Now maybe Bastilla lead is the best answer against Treya or even Scion Nihilus teams behind Emperor with the Vader. Because rather than letting them get the jump on you because of her leader, you get the jump on them. So if you're seeing those Vaders in your squad or on your opponent's teams, they can be so fast where you can't really outrace him with just speed. But this Bastilla idea is going to mean, first of all, he's sticking none of the debuffs.
Okay.
But as you're saying, because Treya-led teams without the Vader don't really have a speed advantage. We're trying to play this team as if it had a speed advantage, but it doesn't. So the Bastilla lead may not make sense because you would put her in when you need the speed advantage. And then maybe even Grandmaster Yoda as a lead with Bastilla on the squad because she's excellent. But that might make some sense against this too, and so we don't have to play it as a speed based approach.
You know what? I screwed up just a minute ago, but I think I could have done this. I called in. I called in Nest for Master's Training when he already had Master's Training. That was stupid. I could have called in Jolie, Bastila.
Well, you're not going to give. Can you get Master's Training with Isolate? She won't assist.
She didn't have it before, but yeah.
I think
no.
you can get it, but they won't. They won't go in for
Yeah,
it.
they won't assist. Yeah,
Right.
She can't even call somebody else in to assist.
no, she can't do anything. It's just, I mean, that's
Yeah, this is pretty much going to be just a checkmate here.
That's why I think General Kenobi works well on here. Because anytime, he's going to start off with that taunt. And then anytime they do their AoEs and get a crit, he's going to keep taunting.
Okay. Yeah, General Kenobi. Let me think here. Okay. All right, let's see. Where we at so far? We're at. Second. All right, I think it's time for us to get into the meta report real quick before we keep doing this. We'll get back to some more arena gameplay here in a few minutes. If you guys have any squads that you want to see, you can type into the chat now, and we'll get there in the next. I think Jared T actually just made a request. Okay, so actually before we go into that, let me put that in. So try Towson, IG88, IPD, Towson or 88 lead. Just try to get Towson to go before Sith. Okay. So
I'd use 88 lead. I mean, there's no other Night Sister on that team. It's just, well, I guess if you need the speed for Towson to go first, you'd have to use Towson.
Towson's issue against the Trey lead, don't they just start gaining health all the time?
Well, that's why you got
gonna
the
just blow away the plagues.
Well, no, not necessarily. What happens is you go with Towson, and then you get 88 with the Zeta. It prevents health and protection regen, and they won't be able to shed it because of the plague.
You think
Right.
Towson lead?
If you need the extra 30 speed on her, yes. If not, I'd go 88 lead, because then every time you crit, you'll drop a dot. But you're not going to crit against Towson. So, yeah, you might as well just use Treya. Give her that extra, or excuse me, Towson. Just use Towson. Just to make sure she goes first.
Okay, Towson first. And then we'll go Droid, which is IG88, R2D2.
IPD would be pretty darn sweet in there.
Yeah, he's on the team.
Okay.
And BB8. Okay. Let's see what happens.
I like it. It's a lot like the Ray Droid team.
Okay. Alright, so area effect. Thank you again, Jared. Right, let me see. Who should I stun here?
I mean, if they're not plagued, it doesn't matter. They're just going to lose it.
Plague, they can't lose, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we really need to find a way to get her to go first. Because otherwise she's not going to go.
Yeah, because well, I mean, that just happened. Nihilus came in and drained her cooldowns.
Okay.
This looks so difficult.
Yeah, this is like, wow. Okay. Let me try to restart this. I gotta take a look at. Let me just take a look at her mods and make sure she has good mods. She's got 99 speed. It's not bad. It's not horrible. Could be better. She's got all the Gear 12 Plus pieces. So she's got about as fast as she can get.
Well, you could give her another 20 speed pretty easily, and 30 speed if you really stretched mods, and I think that would make a pretty big difference. Because how fast is their Nihilus? Or is he just doing it based on his base speed with mods?
Let me see. Where are we lacking on speed? We got 14 speed here, 14 speed there, 30 speed there, 13 there, 17, and then 11, and that's what, a crit chance mod?
It's important to remember, like, if you guys are
That's not bad.
suggesting teams and stuff, he might not have them modded how you have them modded. So don't like instantly discount a team if it doesn't work, as well as you'd hope. It'd be a good indicator because his characters are maxed out. But a lot of these teams, like this one, for instance, you want to have him Townsend fast, you want to manipulate it, turn order and whatnot, and his characters might not be set up to do that. So it's difficult to do live on the stream too because you're sitting there,
right?
You're making small adjustments, getting her a little faster, but to make this team really, really shine.
Yeah, we got 3 speed.
Tough.
Still 3 speed. That's not gonna do it. Let's try to get this speed up here. 14 speed.
Yeah, Vague says Nihilus will get turn meter when you target lock Scion. Yes, but that's why you gotta have Townsend go first. But then it will suck down 88's turn meter.
And with BB-8 on the team, it's going to be hard to get your Talzin to go before them because your droids are so fast. So I don't think it's a problem with your Talzin speed. I think it might be that you don't want BB-8 on that squad because you don't want your droids going first. And what's he really bringing to it? I'm not sure much. R2-D2 would be pretty darn awesome in there. Get a burn on them when they've got plague and target lock.
Let's give it one more shot, and then we'll try a different different version of it. Okay, so first, let me do the area of effect again. Let's do target lock. Okay.
I would be so happy if this team ended up working because I have all these characters maxed out on my main. That would be pretty neat. I've always found that the BB-8, the 88 and the Imperial Probe Droid combo is a pretty good opener. It allows you to really control it, but against the Sith, trying to get that the plagues will stick around, but you won't be able to maintain a target lock on characters very frequently. And those characters are just going to heal right up and lose their plagues. So I think what we need is another character that can bring target lock to the conversation. And perhaps it'll be one of these, the new droid that's coming out in as part of this current wave of characters.
Yeah, another target lock option would be nice, just to have something else. Even if that character didn't even benefit necessarily from target lock, it just adds another element for other characters to feed off of. Yeah, that droid having target lock would be cool because let's face it, IPD's time in the sun has already come and gone. I mean, it's so easy to get characters over 100,000 health protection now with all these new pieces. Like, you can't one-shot a character with IPD anymore. It's getting tough, especially Nihilus. Nihilus is out of the question. He gets so much stacking health.
Jared, it was a bloodbath, but I'll try another variation of it later. It's really kind of, it's frustrating because I guess I could remod the squad, but I feel like she would need to have at least another 20 speed to go first, and even then, I don't think that that they would last. It's just gonna kind of blow. There's just not enough health on the squad. You say, what I don't understand is she didn't get any. She didn't get any of the debuffs, so she shouldn't I mean, or the chances at least of her cooldowns being increased by Nihilus should be almost okay. Okay, there she goes. So now we're gonna stick Plague on everybody. Okay, so it was just kind of an RNG thing. Well, that's not good. Okay.
Well, oh well. Yeah. Yeah, well.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Let's see. He's plagued, right? So let me shoot him with that. If we could get, I mean, if we could get an attack on a plague's already gone. I was gonna say if we could take out Scion with Talzin and then have IPD take out Sith Trooper, then we might have had a chance. Nihilus.
Oh, look, those plagues just melt right off. It's sad.
That's
Yeah, you lose those target locks, you lose the plague.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go back to trying some more arena squads in a few minutes. Let's move on to the meta report. And this week we are looking at the first the top 10 leaders at rank 1. So, again, there's not much change here, so we're going to blow through the meta report pretty quickly to get to our top 5. We have a very special Swindler's Minute this week, so courtesy of Casaspella being here for the episode, so I'm looking forward to that. But okay, so Emperor Palpatine obviously dominating the situation. He's all over the scene. CLS working his way back up the list, I see, right? I mean, it seems like CLS had kind of fallen back. I guess he was taken over by Rey Jedi Training. Now he's surpassed Rey Jedi Training again. But Darth Traya is slowly working her way up. Now she's number 4, with Darth Vader right behind her, which is kind of weird because I didn't think that many people were using Vader, but I guess that kind of surprises me. But Rex is really kind of the surprising thing here, is that Rex is falling behind Vader, Traya, Rey Jedi Training, and CLS. So not a lot of people using Rex right now. What are your thoughts about that?
Doesn't work, man. I mean, characters get isolated, especially if Rex gets isolated. I mean, there's nothing. They don't get the turn meter effects, and they just, I don't know. It just doesn't work. Versus Traya, because you use Rex. Yes, I got tenacity up on everybody, but you also just gave them -50 offense. Your tenacity up expires. You've done no damage, and they just pound you because Annihilate's ready to go instantly. That's. I don't find him useful at all in this meta. You can make it work. It still can work, but it's definitely not the answer to this particular Traya meta. It still works versus Palpatine to some extent, as long as Treya's not on the team. Traya basically kills Nick Rex, I guess. So
yeah. Well, I mean, so Rex is pretty much out of the situation now. Obviously, people are still using Wedge to counter Traya a little bit, and Hera is just there really because of the early game players that are sitting at rank 1. So the people that are trying to get, Thrawn and Palpatine. Obviously going for a Phoenix squad is a great way to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So that's why we're seeing that there. And overall, they're actually not a bad team. I mean, if you're thinking early game, a Zeta Gear 12 Phoenix team is actually not so horrible if you have them all maxed out. But that's the top 10 leaders at rank 1. Now we're going to go to our top 10 squad members at rank 1. And that is still Emperor Palpatine at rank 1, but Grand Admiral Thrawn slips down a little bit further. with Vader surpassing him as the number 2 squad member used in Arena. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I mean, Grand Admiral Throne was number 1, for a long time. Okay, so Darth Nihilus right there, then Darth Sion. I still can't believe that Grand Moff Tarkin's in the top 10 here, but he is holding on by a thread.
That's another reflection of early game because he's a 4-star character you get before level 50.
Yeah, that might have something to do possibly with these new quests. You know how they made an adjustment to the quests? He might be one of the characters that they just basically give you, pretty early on.
They do give it to you. They give you 80 shards.
It's smart because I mean you probably that's probably a prelude to getting the capital ship.
Exactly.
Well, that and now the three of us first started, Vader was impossible to get, very, very difficult.
Right.
But now, I mean, there's so many milestones, so many extra achievements. You can buy a Darth Vader pack for $20. I think it is, and get 80 shards. That was never an option.
That's so disappointing. I wish I could have.
They would have sold a lot of those if they'd sold them 2 years earlier.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could have bought a Vader pack. You know how long it was, like going into the shard shop for months.
Oh my gosh!
Just trying to get 2 shards, 2 shards, 2 shards, just hoping. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much change. I mean, really, the Sith and the dark side are dominating, of course. CLS is still there, strong, because I mean, again, he's still a great option. He's such a fantastic character overall. I mean, I was actually playing against the CLS in TW earlier today, and he took out like three of my lower tier squads, just one by himself. Like, I mean, I was trying to cheese it. Don't get me wrong. I was using like some really low modded squads, but I mean, I had like one CLS like literally wipe out 5 guys, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Just went in there with full five characters with full health. I think it was like a. I think it was a droid team that actually took him out. Like I ended up going in there with the droid squad and taking him out, with them. But it's like you go in there, you kind of underestimate the fact that he's just one character in TW, and then you go in there and CLS just tears it up. He just constantly gets turn meter. He's stunning everybody, and because he's stunning you, you're losing turns. So he's just going again, and he's healing himself and on his protection. It's crazy. Anyway, that's our top 10 squad members at rank 1 for this week. We're going to move on to our top 5 this week, which is actually going to be top 5 scoundrels. And there is a reason for this. We actually have, a scoundrel master here today, somebody who has, kind of played around with most of the scoundrels in the game and can give us some really good insight as to what's going on. So, being that we have Casaspella as the guest today, we decided to go with top 5 scoundrels. And who do we have here at number 5, Maurice?
All right, sorry, I was on mute. Number 5, I believe we went with L3, correct?
Yes.
Yes, good old L3. It's a newer character. It's not a lot of people have focused on this character, but this character is very, very good. Offers a lot of synergy with those prepared Han Solo characters, not to mention anything to do with droids. She fits really well on these Rey Jedi training teams as a droid counterpart. A lot of people use Chopper and stuff in TW. L3 definitely makes a massive difference there. She's a pre-taunting scoundrel. I think there's Chewie. You've got Gamorrean Guard and L3. I think. Oh, I guess Stormtrooper Han as well. But the tank option. Yeah, Chopper's not a scoundrel.
BB-8. Oh, correct.
Those aren't scoundrel. I'm just trying to think of scoundrel tanks. She's probably her Stormtrooper Han is probably gonna be your best option.
Boss.
Oh yeah, Boss. Forgot about him too.
Tank, but we'll get to
Okay,
him.
so never mind. There's a lot of tanks for the scoundrels in my face, but a lot of synergy with the droids, especially. Definitely a character that you want to consider when she becomes farmable.
I actually think she's the best out of all the new. Besides some. I mean, I think out of all the prepared characters, Like all the
Yes.
characters that we got, from all the prepared characters, that prepared team, she's the best one, without a doubt. And she has a lot of utility, not just for droids, but she's just overall like a great character. I've seen her, in a Ray Jedi training team, help out a lot too with droids and with Ray Jedi training. I mean, just as a fifth character that can kind of add some health and some utility. Definitely a very tanky character also. So not a bad choice. I think like when these characters do eventually become free to play, she'll be one of the main targets that I go for sure.
Yeah, I want Kira pretty bad as well. Not as a lead, but just as a support for an all scoundrel team. I think that is there's a lot of potential with her as well.
Okay, and that's our number 5 scoundrel in SWGOH. Moving along to our number 4, we have Boba Fett. So, I mean, Boba Fett really needs no introduction. Obviously, he's one of the most popular scoundrels in the Star Wars universe, and he's been in this game for a long time, since launch, I believe, right? So he was here when the game started. And he did get a rework along the way, which made him a much more viable option. They changed his ability, so now he actually uses a carbine rifle, and he also has the ability to basically he can avoid taunts, he can dispel taunts, he can dispel positive status effects, and he has a great unique which allows him to basically revive 100% of the time. So it's a fantastic character all around, and has a great leader ability. Probably from the early game, back when this game first started, we used to theory craft Boba Fett teams to the Kingdom Come, because I mean Boba Fett crit chance was fantastic. I mean, I used to think about Boba Fett lead with like an all AOE team, like with Sidious behind him and all this stuff. Like before, like all this protection and basically characters became a lot more tanky, and there were a lot more intricate, unique abilities and things like that with heals. When it was a more basic game, his leader ability was probably one of the best, if not the best, in the game.
I maintain it remains one of the best leaders in the game. It is the base part of it, the fact that you get 50% crit damage and 10% crit chance is very strong. And the fact that it applies to every single character makes him one of the strongest, if not the strongest, universal leader. So while he doesn't outperform, Traya in that squad we were looking at a bit ago, from a universal lead perspective, it puts him right there on the map.
That's our number 4.
Well, don't forget about his one-shot capability. That's kind of important too.
Yeah.
So he's got a big nuke that can just one-shot a character if the situation's right.
That one-shot ability was great after the Darth Maul meta. Whenever Savage got his rework, he was so difficult to beat. But if you had Boba Fett in your team, you could just let him build up all those buffs and debuffs, and you just one-shot him, and he's out of the game.
Oh yeah.
So, basically, that's our number 4 scoundrel in SWGOH. Moving along to our number 3. Who'd we go with here, Maurice?
We got a new fella. Mr. Bosk is our number 3 character. New character. He's now farmable in 9B, so you guys should have him ready to go at 7 stars in about a year and a half. He should be ready to rock and roll. But he basically is, in my opinion, probably the best lead for the reworked bounty hunters. Brings a whole bunch of stuff to the table. Pre-taunt, the taunt that lasts. He's got it's a great leader ability. Brings lots of defense. Makes him a lot tankier. And this is something, I mean, that the bounty hunter faction needs. You're talking about Greedo, IG-88, Zam Wessel, Cad Bane. These are all extremely squishy characters, and he brings defense. Brings some survivability to the table for them, so you get more out. You can actually have these characters take a couple turns before they die. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it marries you to a bounty hunter squad using Bosk here, as opposed to using Boba Fett or or some of the other leader options. But man, the survivability bump from Boba Fett, or from Bosk rather, it goes a long way. And paired with Boba Fett's Zeta, you can imagine a team where you just can't get that Boba Fett, and he just keeps coming back to life and refilling his protection. It could be a nightmare on the territory wars. I see some people here mentioning in chat, the 88 teams with Boba Fett and Bosk. It is a real nightmare to fight against those squads. And while in territory wars, I'm still I like to use my Boba Fett on attack because I can take out some pretty excellent Sith teams with a bounty hunter squad. I really can't wait until I can have a Bosk lead at a decent star level and run him as a defensive lead for the territory wars. I think he's going to be one of the best squads for use in there.
Yeah, his contract is one of the more difficult ones to fulfill. But once you do fulfill it, all bounty hunters get 50 speed for the rest of the battle. That's pretty nasty. That's fast. That's pretty quick for all the characters.
Yeah, he's a great. He's a great addition to the Scoundrels. Because he's pretty much the piece that's been missing. Even though I think they're still missing a piece, to be honest with you, he's kind of the piece that has been missing as far as the tank, that can taunt, and he does a decent amount of damage. He calls in assist. His leader ability is pretty fantastic. I've seen him at high level in TW hold tremendously on defense. I wish I had a screenshot here to show you guys, but one of our guildmates today actually had him hold for 15 battles on defense with a Bosk lead and a Scoundrel team. So that was our first wall that we put up to kind of get them to use like some of their better squads, and then we put our Traya teams like behind that. It actually worked. So they had to, basically use a lot of squads to run this gear against this Gear 12 Bosk, and he did fantastic on defense. So overall, fantastic character and great addition to the Scoundrel faction for sure. That's our number 3 Scoundrel in SWGOH. Moving along to our number 2 Scoundrel in SWGOH, we have Han Solo. Now, Han Solo, again, is probably the most popular Scoundrel in the game. He's attainable through the Rancor raid, and he is a fantastic character since he got a Zeta. Prior to that, he really had no utility. He's only usable as a stun for a Jawa engineer team when the droid meta was around. Basically, that's the only reason you could use a Han Solo, was because he shot first and he stunned Jawa engineer, or at least had a chance to stun Jawa engineer, which would prevent that droid team from going. But after months and months and months, if not a year, of basically worthlessness, they gave him a Zeta, which allowed him to ignore taunt with that Han shoots first attack, and allowed him to do double attacks. And he's also one of the highest damage dealers in this game, period. So, obviously you want to mod him for crit chance, so he gets opportunities to go, again after he uses his special attack, Deadeye. But he spreads buffs. He attacks really hard. He's a fantastic character all around. He's probably, I'd still say, a top. He could be top 5, but definitely top 10 character in the game, period. He's fantastic. There's obviously been some new additions to the game, which might trump him now, but overall, if you're looking for damage, Han Solo's where it's at.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's it.
Damn much you can say.
I remember when they first released Han Solo, where we had all those question marks in terms of his abilities. You guys remember that? We could see that it was Han Solo, but you click on him and it's all question marks. That was really, had all of us theory crafting. I think that was an exciting way to release a character. It would have been maybe kind of neat if that had happened with Traya. But I think in terms of Han Solo's, how you would
No, I have that set up for
Okay.
a second from now. For sign. Still out?
I don't.
It looks like it's coming back, but it says live now. I can see a still of Han Solo. I just typed into chat technical difficulties. Be
We're
right
good,
back.
man. We're good. We're
It
good.
says live now. I can see.
Okay, so we're back, guys.
still
Sorry
of
about that.
Han Solo. I
But
just typed into
basically,
chat
basically, we cut out there for a second. It's actually all Castaspell's fault.
that can't be true.
But that's our number 2 scoundrel in SWGOH. Moving along to our number 1 scoundrel. I'm sure you guys had a feeling about this. She's wonderful. She's new. She's
Zam Wessel.
not Sam Wessel. She's
I wish.
She's
Sam Wessel
Enfys
2.0.
Nest. Enfys Nest is our number 1 scoundrel. Why is she number 1?
Because she is legit. She is just instantly upon release 3-star, 4-star, 5, 6, 7, wherever you have her at. She is an exceptional character. She's so fast, super fast character. I think she's the 10th fastest, 9th or 10th character in the entire game. And she put all your speed on her. She goes first. AoE turn meter removal, AoE days, first move of the game is silly. I mean, it's just silly. It's so good. She's got dispel on her basic. She exposes on her basic. She can stun. She can buff block. All sorts of mechanics. She can bypass taunt with a Zeta, stacking crit damage. Unbelievable amount of protection regeneration whenever she's hit. Just a real pain to face on defense, and just really improves your chances on offense as well if you can get that speed on her. Yeah, speed is what Kozo said. Yes, speed.
Don't forget the shoes.
Oh yes, she's got the Air Max, the Air Force Ones.
She does. Okay, that's our she's she's obviously with the ability to dispel, stun. She basically has protection regeneration, and she's overall just one of the better characters in the game. I mean, not just because of her ability to kind of sustain the end of the battle, but yeah, she's definitely somebody that you want to add to pretty much any squad. I mean, obviously now, being that there's a Jedi meta going on, I mean, she could still be somebody that you add as a 5th. You got to do some testing and see what works, but she's a character that kind of like Mother Talzin, kind of like Nihilus, kind of like Thrawn, really can be used in a lot of different squads, and I think that over time, when a squad does eventually emerge where she's a fantastic 5th, she'll eventually be a more prevalent character in the top 10 squad members used at rank 1 on the meta report. But right now, she's still kind of like working her way into the meta, and that's because the meta seems to be primarily Sith right now, so there's no real reason to have a person or a character like this as a 5th, because I mean there's no synergy there between her and the Sith. You can use her, and there is a benefit.
I use her every day. Every day.
You can use her. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that there's better options. If you want to have a synergy character in there. But she's overall just a fantastic addition to any squad. I mean, she's great for TW. She's great for T territory battles. She's great for everything. So, just a great character all around. But that's our number 1 character. Our number 1 scoundrel character in SWGOH. Now we're going to move along to a special edition of the Swindler's Minute.
Hey, they're saying the sound is super low.
Now would be a great time to turn it up.
Oh yeah.
So we have the Swindler's Minute. We're moving along to the honorable mention, Greedo. Why is Greedo amazing? Castaspell,
Well,
give us a breakdown here.
Greedo is probably my favorite character in the game. I Zetaed him immediately when he came out, or with his update, the character is a beast. And with his recent update so that his basic can now not only tap twice, it can tap 3 times. My first attack with Greedo, once they updated this, literally hit 7 times in a row. It was disgusting. Now, it wasn't a whole bunch of damage because I didn't have all the buffs in place, but actually nailing all of those that quickly was really, really kind of a wonderful introduction to new Greedo. So it essentially adds 33% additional damage to his basic. And because all of his damage is coming out of this basic, aside from his bombs, which we'll talk about here in a minute, it maximizes the amount of damage that you're going to get out of this character, who is already the most significant damage dealer outside of Boba Fett in certain circumstances. And this really puts him over the top. Greedo is a machine. He hits like a train for about 30,000, not counting mods, on a basic attack. And that's crazy. Now, of course, it's only about 6,800 base damage. But assuming it's going to be a crit, because Greedo, behind a Boba Fett lead, all you have to do is get him to 60%, or it's very easy, rather. You need to get him to 60%, 50% rather, crit chance base. And then with his crit chance up, which he gives himself by throwing, by using his new move, which we'll get to here in a quick sec, Greedo is outperforming everything from a damage perspective. Put him into use and see what happens. Now, his special moves, there's really 2 that I want to talk about here, being that there are 2. First, his thermal detonators, that they've finally renamed to something that is no longer super generic. They call it explosive sabotage now. This bomb, uniquely in the game, has a single turn cooldown. So that means they don't have a chance to dispel it. Now, we'll set Traya aside for a moment because, gosh, those teams are virtually impossible, and I wouldn't recommend trying to use Greedo or a bounty hunter-based squad to go against the meta Traya squads. That's not really going to work for you. But having a major damage dealer on those Bosk-led defensive teams for territory wars can tear it up. He can overwhelm the damage required to just burn through the territory battles where you need bounty hunters anyway. And these thermal detonators, because they explode so quickly, and then also give Greedo that turn meter, you're going to get a lot of value out of those bombs, unlike most other bombs, which don't basically get dispelled before they'll ever explode. Not to mention that Boba Fett's lead is going to be feeding you additional turn meters. So Greedo here not only gets the 25% turn meter, but he's getting additional turn meter from that Boba Fett leader attribute that gives additional turn meter to bounty hunters when those bombs explode. Now, Threaten is his brand new one that takes the Zeta. So it's an expensive, it's certainly a luxury Zeta from the standpoint of ones that are important. But being able to give crit chance up to your entire team, take away the turn meter. Again, your Greedo has 100% turn meter when he has crit chance up. So he is going to take away 100% turn meter. So you're then going to be stunning him. The turn meter removal cannot be resisted, or nor can the stun. So I'm sorry, I believe that the stun can't be resisted, but it is possible that they can resist the turn meter reduction. But it can't be evaded. It takes away all their buffs. It can neuter that taunting tank on your opponent's squad and allow you to shoot where you want with your other bounty hunter attackers. So his leader's useless. The 50% crit damage is a little interesting on his contract, but it's pretty inconsistent to be able to fulfill it. You have to damage an enemy with 50% turn meter or less, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to get it satisfied anyway, and it's not anything to write home about. I would prefer most of the others to this one.
So what is it that happened with his like his abilities that weren't working, that now he's able to like attack twice or sometimes even 5 times?
Right. Well, I was getting to his unique here, which I'll just go ahead and read. He's got a 15% additional crit chance and 50% chance to attack again whenever he crits.
Now this wasn't working, right? This wasn't working until recently they fixed it.
It used to be a 50% chance to double tap, right, not a 50% chance to attack again. So you'd only see up to 2 hits. Now you're seeing that there's a 50% chance to get the second hit. If you get that hit, there's a 50% chance you're going to get a third hit. If that hits, there's a 50% chance you're going to get a fourth hit, etc. So you could see within the realm of possibilities certain hits that hit for those 7 or even more in some circumstances times on a super lucky string of Greedo pops.
I saw a video with Mobile Gamer and all the other day where he attacked 5 times in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've hit for 5 times twice. I haven't hit for 6, and I got 7 only that once. I don't know what was going on, but in terms of his contract, so bounty hunters, of course, with their recent rework, have their contract system, and we're not going to get into the details of that here. But know that the contract system is fulfilled when you meet certain conditions in the game. So getting back to the Boba Fett concept of lead, because I really believe he is the leader to go with on the bounty hunter squad until we get Jango Fett in a legendary event. So Riemann, that's coming out when? I'm not sure we had the date on that yet.
Oh, the Jango Fett legendary event? Yeah. That's,
right.
That's still in the archives. We gotta
TBD. Wait. I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
well, I'm ready for it, just in case that is. They were waiting for my thumbs up to move forward.
I'm sure we'll see Jango Fett at some point before the end of the game, without a doubt.
We must. He's the linchpin we're missing from these bounty hunters. He was the original bounty hunter. In my mind, anyway. Bubba's dad taught him everything he knew.
He is the original clone. He is the model for all the clone troopers. So that's where they came up with these guys. There's tons of guys out there that were made in Jango's image. So you can think about that what you will, but he's got to have an Imperial Trooper synergy. Well, let me say one more quick word here about Boba Fett, because it really is his payout that he just gets scary good. So once his payout is achieved, he's got 50% health steal. So that means he's going to stay full of health, because again, behind that Boba Fett lead, you're going to have 50 to 60,000 base health on this Greedo, and that's before you're focusing health in his mod sets. He'll get an additional 25% crit damage, so just on top of that 30k, now he's hitting for 34 or so k, and a 75% counter chance. So that means those AoEs that you get pummeled with, Greedo is going to answer back each one of those with 2, on average, big whacks for 30k, or rather the 2 total 30k. So in summary, Greedo is a machine. I think he's a central linchpin to a bounty hunter squad. I don't think that's going to change. His Zeta's a luxury. I think you can run him effectively without it. But if you have him modded correctly and have that bounty hunter squad for the Bosk lead in territory wars and other locations, I think it's going to pay some major dividends down the road, especially as we see the maturity of the contract-based bounty hunter leaders. Makes sense. Well, you guys heard it here first. That was the Swindler's Minute, courtesy of Casus Spella. And you heard it here first. Zeta, you're Greedo. More importantly than anything else. Okay, Greedo ahead of...
No. Wait a second.
Is that what you took away from what I said?
No, I'm kidding. No, but Greedo obviously has a lot of utility. He's a fantastic bounty hunter, fantastic scoundrel. And, he's actually somebody who recently got some love. So, it's something to consider.
A lot of love.
Being that he can do, a lot more attacks now. Again, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice, it's a little bit of RNG. But still an interesting character to look at if you're trying out some different squads. But that's the top 5 scoundrels, and that's the Swindler's Minute here, courtesy of the Alliance, good old Maurice, and the Swindler's Minute, courtesy of Casus Spella. We appreciate all that, guys. Now we're going to move along to our roster review. We actually have Josue on the stream here today for his roster review. We're going to take a look at his roster here on swgoh.gg and just kind of go over it a little bit and try to give him some advice. And then we're going to get back to some arena gameplay here in a moment. So we we see here you're at rank 91. And you have a 2.65 galactic power. You have 107 7-star characters. That's pretty damn good. And it looks like the highest you're getting in arena right now. Now, are you somebody that really tries hard for arena every day, or are you kind of casual with arena, and that's why the highest you're getting is 40?
I would like to try hard, but with work, kids,
Gotcha, gotcha.
it's hard.
So it's not
Yeah,
it's not
it's
it's
hard
not
to
it's
do
not it's
all
not, it's
five
not that you
battles.
it's not that you can't get to the top 10. It's that you're just not.
I've never been top 10. I have broken into the top 20. I've just not been able to sustain it.
Okay.
Well, so when did you start playing the game? Because for your GP, I mean, your arena team mods are pretty stellar.
I
It-
started October 2016.
okay,
I
yeah,
actually started the game the very very first week it came out, and I played it for a couple of days, and I didn't like it, gave it up, and then in October of 2016, I saw an ad for it. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I had forgotten that I had already played it, so I started back up, did the main missions in the beginning, and then it says, hey, you've previously played this game. Do you want to continue? So I said, oh yeah, okay, sure, let me continue. Not realizing that I was getting put into a year-old arena shard.
okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at your roster, 2.6. I mean, if you're keeping pace with your shard, I mean, your mods should be probably top 10% in your arena. But if it's like a day one shard, you took a year off, it's tough. But your mods are definitely competitive. I mean, you got to think you get Vader at 253. That's pretty impressive. That's not easy to do. Um,
Yeah, but it seems like I'm having more of a detriment because he's so fast.
well,
Everybody else is running a slow Vader.
Well, you
well, you
don't.
said you were about 70 shards away from Treya.
I see the problem here. You don't have a Zeta on your Bodhi Rook. That's the problem. You
You're not gonna lure me into that trap. uh, yeah, I'm about 70 shards away from Treya.
Well, I mean, just looking at your roster, the team you have is probably going to be your best option unless you want to run Jedi Training Array, right? So,
I ran her for a while, and I switched over to the Palpy lead meta.
have you been saving your gear for Treya?
No, I probably should.
No, she's easy to gear. Just hoard those. Just hoard some Carbonis and some droid colors. But you might want to start saving for that because when you get Treya, what you can do is you can take Vader completely off your arena team, and all those mods you have on Vader, you can kind of distribute to the rest of the team. I see you've got Nest at gear 10. You can take her to 11. She's not tough to gear, and that's something you could run. That's my arena team is the Triumvirate with Treya lead, Nest, and Thrawn. You have all those characters developed already except for Treya. You'll get her probably maybe 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, around that time. Yeah.
Honestly, your roster looks pretty good. I mean, in my opinion, from just glancing at it here, I know Maurice is taking out some notes and he's going to kind of give you some advice here. But yeah, I don't know what path you're going down. I mean, are you kind of trying to set up for a Sith meta and a Sith arena team, or are you more looking towards now since you've zated Bastila to kind of go towards the Jedi?
I would like to have pretty much both of them. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like just in case. So, my arena team, I'm getting Scion close to 7-star. He's at around 30 shards till 7-star. So I'll have my Sith team ready for whenever I do unlock Treya. But I just want to also be prepared in case some new Jedi's do come out. So I'm working on a few Jedi as well. That's why I say to Bastilla, just because I thought she looks pretty awesome. And, I love KOTOR. I love those games. So she's one of my favorite characters. I just went ahead and say to her.
Well, we still got those 3 characters coming. You might get a nice little pleasant surprise. Yeah, and there might be some more synergy there that we don't even know about yet. So it's not a terrible move at all. That's definitely a good Zeta for sure. You're in a great position to actually work on just those 2 things. Like your First Order, your Imperial Troopers, Night Sisters are all solid. All of them are really, really solid teams. And those are great for the raid, for TW, all across the board. I mean, those are really good. But you will need Sith Trooper if you need to finish Sith Trooper because he is a nice piece for TW and also for like TB if you have to cough up one of your Sith characters for the platoons, you still have Sith Trooper to kind of fill in there and slot out. Like really, the only characters that you have to farm from Cantina left, you want to finish your Acolyte, It's I think she's 6-star, but that's really about it. You can just focus pretty much on mods.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. It's just focusing on mods.
Your speed sets are really good, man. You've got some really good speed mods. You might want to get some more crit damage sets with higher secondary speeds for crit damage. 'Cause I noticed you don't have Wampa yet, but there are some
Yeah,
characters like
I'm about 15 shards away from Wapon. I already do have a Hermit Yoda at 7, so I
yeah.
started him first. So yeah, I'm pretty close to getting Wampa.
Well, you mentioned you're going to want these crit damage sets with the high secondary speeds for like your Ezra, even for your Grandmaster Yoda is an option. You Scion when you get Traya. Scion is awesome with a crit damage set with high secondary speed. Just like characters like Wampa, Sabine, a lot of characters that need crit damage and speed. So that you're kind of lacking some of the secondary speed there. That's a good spot to go. Really, that's it. I mean, Scarecrow Pathfinder I saw a character out of Cantina you still need, but he's by no means a priority if you're not using the ship.
You're in a great spot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you have pretty much the makings of a great Jedi squad. You have the great makings of a great Sith squad. You already have a great First Order squad with KRU lead, and you have Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Shore Trooper at Gear 12. You have Mother Talzin and Asajj Ventress. I mean, you have all the main characters that you need. You have a Gear 12 Han Solo. Your Scion's almost 7 stars. Do you have a Zeta on Barasafi?
Yeah, I do. I believe I have her at Gear 10, and I do have her sated.
She's great. Looks like you have a great Colonel Stark for Dark Side Territory battles. Your First Order Executioner, I'm kind of jealous of. And you have a 7-star Hermit Yoda. The only component that I think that we had actually mentioned when we were talking about your roster before was that you don't have Wampa yet, and Wampa would be a nice addition, I think, to your team. Don't you agree, Maurice?
Yeah. He'll get there. That's just a long haul, Just looking over your whole roster, again, you're in a great spot to finish your Sith and these Jedi. You just instead of working on other stuff, I think it'd be better. You'd be better suited to finish what you had. Like take Talzin to Gear 12, take Scavenger Ray to Gear. Do you have a Zeta Finn?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you probably want to take Poe up to probably at least Gear 11. First Order Executioner to Gear 12. Just kind of finish, just round out the teams you already have really well done. Let's see here. Krennic is a character you probably want to finish. Are you working on Baze and Krennic out of the hard nodes?
I stopped. I think I have them at 6-star with at 6-star and maybe 90 shards left, and I just kind of stopped because there was other stuff that came out while I was working on them.
Neither of those characters are really. I don't think you. I guess you have to have Baze at 7-star for the P6. Rogue One. Your Rogue One's kind of
Yeah, my Rogue One's kind of
But you could probably amp them up by just working on Baze and turrets and seeing how you do before you. Because a lot of people, I put the Zeta on Jyn, and I think I could do that now without it. That's kind of a wasted Zeta I don't use very often. So, Baze and turret, pretty much, if you just work on those two characters exclusively, take them as high as you can, that would probably round out your Rogue One. Your Bounty Hunters, your Phoenix, are definitely serviceable for what you need to use them for in the game. You asked about the Phoenix. If you want to improve your Phoenix, I would just do it one character at a time. Like take Ezra all the way up to Gear 12. He can use him for your Jedi. Then maybe take Kanan or Sabine up. Just kind of one character at a time. Don't try to spread all those Cabranis out because it's really going to take you forever to do them slowly. So just if you want to improve Phoenix, just do one at a time. Your Jedi are all Gear 11 except for Hermit Yoda. That will just take time.
My advice would be also to just hoard the gear for Traya, so when she comes out, you can get her to Gear 11 right away. You know what I'm saying? And continue to work on some of the other things too. Farming. I guess working with the Jedi, but you already have. I would get Ezra to Gear 12 for sure. Do you have a Zeta on Ezra?
No, I do not.
Yeah, so I would Zeta Ezra, get him to Gear 12. If you're going to run Bastila, and that's what you want to do, I'd Zeta Ezra. I'd continue to get to work on Hermit Yoda, get him to Gear 12. and do that. But I mean, as far as like you gotta decide. You gotta make a decision here. Priority wise, like do you want to work on Sith first or Jedi first? And to be honest with you, if you're talking about like arena, like right now, I would say working on your Sith first might be the priority, in my opinion, because you wanna if you wanna move up a little bit and get some more crystals every day, which will help you get some more refreshes, which will in turn help you get more pieces of gear for some of these Jedi here that need some work. You're going to be able to do that primarily by working your way up the arena ladder, and you don't necessarily have to be top 10 every day. I mean, if you could just get into the top 20, that could get you a decent amount of crystals, maybe an extra 50 crystals every day, and that's another refresh. That's more gear. That's a huge benefit, and just use the currencies to your benefit. I mean, most of the characters that you have are the ones that you really need. I mean, there's not a lot of characters that you don't have that are necessary right now. So, like, I mean, for example, do you have everything out of like the Galactic War Store and?
Yeah, yeah, I have all the characters from every star.
Yeah.
Gear at 7 star.
Right.
And see with arena, that's what I don't understand. Like I've looked at the top 10 like speeds on like top 10 people the speed on their mods, and like my speed is just about the same, and that's what I don't understand. All my characters are gear 12. I have some extra the extra gear 12 pieces, and I am in my shard. So I'm in my shard as well. I found my shard. I don't understand how they stay up there so consistently with lower speed than I have, but I'm falling 30, 40 spots every day. I don't get it. Like I don't get it.
Because your Vader goes first, drops the dots, and then it's a coin flip as to who goes next. It's your Vader gets to throw a saber throw, or because you debust Scion, Nihilus gets to go. If Nihilus goes and drains all the cooldowns from your Vader, and he can't throw the Culling Blade immediately, you're getting no benefit from that Palpatine lead.
Make no mistake about it. They're also spending refreshes on crystals and things like that to get higher. So
your mods are really good, man. I mean, when you get Traya, your mods are good enough where you could actually run a Traya lead, Traya Nihilus Scion. Then you could even use your Thrawn, who's developed right now, and your Nest. It's real important to have Scion go really, really quickly, because what you don't want to happen, you don't want to have Thrawn fracture Sith Trooper or Traya waste or isolate on Sith Trooper. So you want to run Scion super fast and have Thrawn go like one speed slower than Scion, so he can actually, even on AI, has a chance to fracture a relevant character. So that helps a lot. That's what I do on my team. I don't fall very far at all. And my mods I have on my team, apart from Nest, my Nest is a little silly, but they're all almost identical to yours. They're not much faster at all.
Where is your Sith Trooper? I'm looking for Sith Trooper. There.
I think it's like gear 9, gear 10.
Yeah, I would.
Mine's only gear 8.
Yeah.
Gear 8, I believe.
Yeah,
7-star gear 8.
I would work on Sith Trooper if you learned anything from today's stream. It's
yeah, I did.
work on Sith Trooper. Give him some health and protection. Work on Sith Trooper, and make him beefy. But I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you're a pretty well developed player. We're gonna do more of these roster reviews. So if you guys,
sorry if you don't mind, I have one more question. Just one more question.
Yeah, man, sure.
Farming. I'm doing hard node farming exclusively for characters. So I'm farming Scion, I'm farming Visas, I'm farming Bosk, and I'm farming base out of there. Should I be doing that many characters out of hard, or should I just stick to like 2, get those to 7, and use the rest of my energy for gear? What's the right balance there?
How do you perform in the raids? Are you like top 10? Do you do pretty well in the raids?
Top 20. On a good day, top 10.
Well, I think now it's almost better. Personally, I think it's better just to focus all on hard nodes and farm your gear out of the like shard shop. And
I'm doing a little bit of that, getting my harder gear from shard shop and from the guild shop as well.
If you're gonna cut one of those out, it sucks because we just did top 5 scoundrels. I'd probably cut out boss, because your bounty hunters are a long way away from being complete. I would finish Baze. I would finish Visas is a good choice because you seem to be going the direction of the Jedi. And, the raid teams, they really thrive. Those Jedi teams with Visas in the lineup, like in P1, where we're seeing people put up almost 5 million now, with probably more with these Grandmaster Yoda teams.
I think it's actually a good question because I mean I wonder the same thing myself. I'm like, am I farming too many hard node farms right now because there's so many? I'm farming a couple characters that I'm almost done with, but for the most part, that seems to be the case. Like every time I'm about to be done with another set of characters, more characters get thrown into hard nodes like Bosk, and
Exactly.
you start all over again.
Exactly.
it gets to the point where like at one point, like when you're finishing up when you're at the tail end of some characters, when you're like maybe 30 shards away, 40 shards away from 7 stars, it's like you're now you're farming like 6 or 7 characters out of hard nodes, and that starts to basically consume all your energy every day. So you're not really farming any more gear. So yeah, it's going to depend, right? I mean, if you're somebody who spends a little bit of money in the game and you're buying crystals and things like that, which I don't know if you do or not, that obviously will help make your decision, because then farming the characters is fine because you want to keep farming the shards and maybe spend the last 2-3 refreshes, like the 100 crystal refreshes, on gear. But if not, then I would pick the characters that are really most aligned with the teams that you're working on right now. Kind of like Maurice said, whether that's Visas, for the raid and for your Jedi team, or it's obviously Scion, finish him up, for your Sith squad. Characters like that make sense, but again, having a 7-star Bosk right now isn't going to really help your team out too much. I can see that being a goal for down the road once you have maybe a few less farms to work with. And I do think that we are going to get some more pieces or characters thrown into the ship PVE tables. So when that happens, it'll probably alleviate some of that stress from farming everything out of hard nodes. So I think that you're on the right path. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I would say that you just want to be a little bit selective about where you're farming. And then, you can always go back and farm some of these characters later. Like, personally, right now, I'm not farming Rose Tico because, I mean, I just don't see her in my plans. And, that's really all it is. I'll circle back around and get her later, right? But yeah, I mean, do you have any other questions?
No, the only thing I want to say is the only reason I'm farming Visas is because I know Revan's coming. So
well, she's a great character all around. I mean, I made a video about Visas a few weeks back, and she's a great addition to a Jedi squad. She's very anti-Sith, so she's great for the Sith raid, and she's just overall she's a fantastic character for arena and for the raid. So she's a good She's definitely worth the farm without a doubt.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's everything. I really appreciate y'all's input. I'm definitely going to take that to heart. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Giving me all that feedback.
Just check out the SWGOH and kind of get a little pen and paper out and make a list of all the gear you need for Traya, and then all the extra pieces for Scion when you get them to 7, so you can take them right to gear 12, and that's going to help you. And then just Sith Trooper and work on your Jedi. Probably want to work on Rex, Wampa, and Fulcrum kind of passively, slowly on the side, just because those are great characters to have. But yeah, you're in good shape, man.
Cuzzo, is the audio better now? But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on for the roster review. We're going to do more roster reviews like this, so if you guys are interested in getting your roster reviewed on the show, I can't say we're going to do one every single week, but we will definitely try to get everybody on at some point, so you can just send a request to Maurice in Discord, and we will try to get to do more some more roster reviews over time. They do take a little bit of time on the show here, and we don't want to just give you generic advice. We do actually want to take a look at your roster and try to give you advice that will help improve your squad. So in order to do that, we can't necessarily get everybody's, but just send in a request, and we'll try to do the best that we can to get to everybody's over time. But yeah, that was a roster review of Josue's roster. He's actually, this is your in-game name is that Thrice? Is that
Coheed Thrice?
Coheed Thrice is your in-game name. So you're a fan of Coheed and Cambria and Thrice?
Oh yeah, love Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah,
Thrice.
I like Thrice.
I haven't kept up with too much.
I like Thrice.
I love Thrice's older stuff. I've had this gamer tag for like 17 years. I like a lot of their older stuff. Haven't really much heard of the new stuff, but
I used to listen
yeah.
to Thrice a long time ago. Yeah, Coheed and Cambria not so much, but Thrice I used to listen to a lot.
Oh, I love Coheed and Cambria. I'm still listening to them. They're releasing an album this year, so I'm super stoked.
That's cool. All right, but let's move back along to some more gameplay. Give me 1 second here.
If you guys want to ask any questions, fire them away. I've got a few pulled from the chat already, but go ahead and start dropping the questions so we get to those.
Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to have some questions asked, type them into the chat. I'm going to now mercilessly try to defeat this Traya squad here again. If you guys have any suggestions, please type them into the chat, and I will give them a shot now. While we do that,
I think Cass is still here, so if you guys have scoundrel questions, now's the time to ask.
Castaspella.
I think he's here. I'm not sure. We might have lulled him to sleep.
Castaspella. So, Cuzzo, is my audio better now, or was that just because I was kind of away? You're the only one that's low. I didn't notice it improve. Okay. So it's still low? I don't know. It seems like it's okay on my bar here. Let me just try to improve it a little bit. Hello?
I think something went screwy when it dropped out. The stream dropped out for a couple seconds, and it kind of took your audio.
Not improving. Okay, let me try to improve it now. Okay. How about now? Wait, how about now? Is that better?
Just screen.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm improving the I'm increasing.
Okay, he said way better.
Okay, good.
Better.
All right, awesome.
Nice teamwork, guys.
Don't want to get into the red, guys. Don't want to get into the red. I just want to stay in the yellow. Okay, kind of. I don't want to blast somebody's ears out here. All right, so let me just let me populate a Jedi squad here. We're gonna go back to the Bastila lead. Okay, we're gonna try Yoda, Hermit Yoda. I think we're going with Kenobi. What does everybody think? You think it's Eth Koth time? You think it's Eth Koth time?
No, I don't think it's Eth Koth. I don't think it's ever Eth Koth time.
It's never Eth Koth time. What about Barriss Offee? That's not enough damage.
If you're trying to use, Thane mentioned it earlier.
If you try to put Darth Trey to sleep, then yes, throw Barriss Offee in there.
You can Plo Koon will actually has a dispel on his basic. Thane mentioned this earlier. If you're having trouble Sith Trooper, you can just call in Plo Koon on an assist, and it will dispel him.
Okay,
I think we actually have a small baby, and he will pre-taunt.
I don't think
with that Bastila lead.
I don't think Plo Koon has mods, so we're just gonna slap some Plo Koon mods on.
Ayla.
We're giving him that Gear 12 plus. Ayla sounds like a good option too, but okay, let's
just go ahead and throw all these pieces on. No problem. Let's just totally max out Plo Koon here.
Okay,
unless you run the ship, you should not have any of these pieces on Plo Koon whatsoever. You shouldn't have him past, I don't know, Gear 4. Pretty terrible, but
these
does bring some use. Any Jedi that's got a tank tag will now be a pre-taunter.
Does he need potency for any reason? No.
I think he's got defense down in his kit, perhaps. Oh, no, I think I just made that up. He gives himself defense up. Honestly, I don't know, man. He's pretty terrible.
Honestly, he's pretty bad, so I don't even think about Plo Koon. Okay, I'm going to give him tenacity. We'll go with... Man, there's nothing here that has speed as a secondary.
All right, you want me to start popping out some questions while you mod Plo Koon?
Yes, let's do questions while I mod Plo Koon. This is such an awesome thing, modding Plo Koon for everybody on the stream. I hope you guys enjoy this, because I thoroughly enjoy modding Plo Koon live for everybody. I'm just gonna go to the first statistic that looks cool. I mean, everything is defense. Okay, let's just go to offense here. At least that's something, because Plo Koon probably hits like a wet noodle.
Yeah, he did hit hard.
Yeah, we're going to give him that. And
all right, let's see what we got. If he has any additional questions, go ahead and fire them off. I'll collect a few more here. We got the first question is from APB772. For someone who doesn't have Treya or a good Scion, what's a good team to use against a Rex lead? How do you beat Rex lead without Treya and Scion?
Without Treya and Scion beating Rex lead, well, I would say a good team would be, first of all, B2 Battle Droid is a great addition to any squad that you're facing against Rex, because B2 can dispel Rex's tenacity up. And I would say that you can throw him into a variation of different squads and make it work. You could even use a Rey Jedi training team and use B2 as your fifth and just kind of dispel all that tenacity up. And it's going to work great, too, because every time that that anybody gets attacked, there's a 40% chance for B2 to get 100% turn meter. So, you're going to want to have he's a great addition to any squad. He's very anti-Rex, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rex has been around for years now. You can use a multitude of things. I mean, if you got a pretty zippy Biggs, you could use Wigs to take out Rex. Teams like the Night Sisters, either lead, Talzin or Asajj work well. There's all sorts of stuff. Palpatine lead. You might want to sub out Vader. If you're having issues with Rex, it could be that you're using Vader. So maybe put in a different Empire of Sith character. There's all sorts of things. Days. Any character with AoE days, like a Darth Maul, AoE days is the kryptonite. I mean, if you, for some reason, have Logray, he's an option as well. You probably don't have him, though. That's kind of silly to suggest, but yeah, just trying to think of some other meta teams. Stuff that you'll have. Wigs and Night Sisters are probably a good solution if you have those. Next question, I think, is another one from same player. We have... I thought we had another one from him. Yeah, there it is. He says, with the Bastila team being good on defense, do you think a souped-up, maxed-out First Order team could defeat... Okay, do you think First Order team could defeat Bastila?
No.
He says specifically crew, executioner, TIE pilot, or officer, and Phasma.
Listen, if you have the right mods on them, maybe, and it would be, but I mean, it wouldn't be able to be duplicated. I mean, it would be like pretty much RNG dependent, I would think.
You would have to have an extremely fast First Order officer. You're probably going to need Stormtrooper. I would take out TIE pilot and Phasma. You're going to want a crew, Fox, the old Kylo, First Order Stormtrooper, and officer. Just because you're going to need all that turn meter from both crew and Stormtrooper. It's a good team. It's a possibility. When I get some on my Arena Shard, I don't have any Basilisks yet there. I will try it out. It'd be good to know for TW. Either way, Basilisk could be... You could build like a Grandmaster Yoda Jedi team to counter maybe the Treyas, because we saw Bastila not do too hot, and maybe have your Bastila counter First Order.
He's saying that First Order beat Mobile Gamer stream today. First Order beat Bastila.
It very well could. It's something. Yeah, I haven't tried it myself. I'm just trying to think in theory. I mean, there's not much offense on that team outside of Ezra and Grandmaster Yoda.
I kind of agree. I mean, I wouldn't think, he probably had like a really well modded First Order team, and even then, I think that's one of those things where, it's going to be kind of a little bit lucky. But I mean, again, that's not to say that. Okay, so let me see here. What is this to deal physical? I've never used Plo Koon in battle. Never.
I don't think anybody has. But he's taunting. He's got a taunt up, and that's pretty. Gives him a little value. Again, this is, I mean, for high end TW, really high GP guilds. any Jedi with a tank tag is going to be a pre-taunter for you now. So they do have a small amount of value. And I like the suggestion. He does have a dispel on his basic, which is nice. There's a lot of depth in the Jedi now. You can build two teams pretty solid. I mean, if you want to bust out the Amagundi lead, I guess you can technically build 3. Joe Lee under Amagundi is kind of cool because every time he does his basic attack, he reduces his cooldowns. So if you're already using him on Amagundi team, he could, in theory, have his assist move every turn, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm not. I've got some Zetas, and I'm interested in building a Jedi team. I don't know where to invest them yet. I think Ezra is a safe bet. Maybe Grandmaster Yoda's non-leadership Zeta is a safe bet, but I just don't know which one I want to go yet. How I want to build it. Oh, well, this one just came in. We can answer it real quick. What does Daze do, and why would I place it on my enemy team? Daze just prevents any sort of turn meter gain on the opposing team. So if you nest,
it also prevents counterattack, and it prevents being called in for assist.
Yeah. So, you got Nest, you have Logray, you have Darth Maul. All these characters. There's a lot of characters now that do Daze, and just like on a Palpatine lead team, if you can land all 5 Dazes with your Nest to lead the battle, they get no benefit whatsoever from buffs expiring or debuffs expiring. So prevents the turn meter gain, like you said, countering. Like Han Solo won't counter. CLS leads, you just pretty much neutralize his leadership, no countering whatsoever. Probably one of the best debuffs in the game.
I'm going to try something out here that I wanted to try out and see how it works out. What I think I'm going to do here... So I'm going to take out Kenobi.
Okay, Waddles asks, you guys may have already answered this. We'll answer it again. Do you think Bastila is valuable in high-end arena at 3 and 4 star? Versus Palpatine, yes. Versus Traya, I don't know.
Yeah,
We didn't have too much luck with it.
I would agree with that, yeah. I'd say versus Palpatine, yes. Versus Traya, not so much. Okay.
Thank Kyrell. Should I give my next Zeta to Traya or Bastila? Purely for TW. Traya. I think Traya 100% for TW.
Okay. Let's try this against Rey Jedi Training and see how it does. I'm just sick and tired of losing, so I'm going to try against another squad to see if I can do something. And then we'll go back to the Sith. But I want to try this team out for a second and see if there's any utility here with these characters. Okay.
Trying to look for your question, DSP. I think the question you talk about, how do you get mod status on this stream? If you be like the little blue wrench, I guess you got to be on the stream. I don't know.
No, you have to be given mod status by me.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here how much damage. Okay.
All right, Ramon. For TW, who do you Zeta, Bastila or Traya?
First, let's see what Teen Ocean Spy does here to Rey Jedi Training. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 buffs. Oh, 71k.
Oh, I'm grinning for it. It makes me smile every week. We try this team. Okay, I got all. Oh, it's embarrassing. But I run the bugs in my ship arena, so I have all 3 pieces on Geonosian Spy now.
What was the question again?
Who would you recommend, Bastila or Traya for TW? Which lead first?
For TW, Traya. Traya just has. Listen, Bastila. Not that I mean, not. I mean, she's obviously already a meta character, but I'm saying, again, there's still the jury's still out on exactly how to use her. You know what works with Trey already, so I would go with what you know already, and then then focus on what you don't know and what you can have. So I mean, if you don't have a if you don't have if you don't have Bastila, Bastila's also behind a paywall. I mean, like Traya, you're going to get, you're going to progress through the raid. I would say, again, you want to probably focus on Traya first, and then I think Bastila would be, the next place or the next way to go. But I think she definitely has a lot of utility. She's definitely shown to be a great leader for the Jedi, and she's shown that she can make them meta. I just don't know if that means that she's better than Traya. I would definitely say that Traya is still the number one character in this game. Well, probably the number one meta character in this game. Let's see what happens here. Oh, 41k. That wasn't that great.
While you're doing this, Maxim Demestri. Ooh, sorry, man. With this new Jedi team, is there still room for JTR teams in the top of the arena?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
You're going to fall, but I think you can definitely still climb with Jedi Training Ray. Yeah. I still see it. I still see him pop up much. I see him rise, but then I don't see him during my payout because they fall pretty far.
For sure.
I don't think she's ideal for arena. I don't think she's a top 3 option anymore, but if you got good mods, you know how to play the team, you can definitely still win. Especially versus Jedi, I'd still be more scared of Traya, Sith teams than I would be a Bastila team with your Jedi Training Ray team, because you are going to outspeed them, burn through that protection pretty quick with the exposes and stuff. So I think so. Let's see. I'm trying to see. There's a couple more here.
I think DSP had a question, right? How is that attainable? Was my question. Is there a question? The answer is Trey. If there is a question, the answer is Trey. Okay. How is she attainable? Because she's attainable through the Sith raid. I don't understand what the question is.
I think he was talking about the mod status on the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. If not, type it back in DSP. We'll get to it. Another question from Thane Kyrell. Sith Assassin, Marauder, and Trooper are all meta, so do you think that CG should rework Jedi Counselor and Jedi Knight Guardian?
Sure. I mean, but, I think not before they rework Mace Windu, Plo Koon, and every other Jedi that deserves it first. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody should. I think every character that has an original, beginning of the game kit that hasn't been changed since 2015, 2016, early 2016, should get a rework at this point. I mean, there's so many. I mean, look at Bastila's kit. I mean, just read her kit. I mean, like, read a kit from 2018 and read a kit from 2015. It's like there's so much more involved now, and there's so much more. I mean, damage now. There's so much more. So many more mechanics that just weren't available back then. Different buffs. I mean, these characters, they were built for, a meta that, and some of them weren't even built for that meta. They were just built to be okay characters, 3 years ago. So nowadays, you got to figure that these characters need some love. And I think, yes, any character from back then that hasn't gotten a rework should get one, for sure.
Yeah, but they came out and said, sorry to disappoint, existing Jedi aren't getting a rework. They just gave us 2 more. And we haven't talked about Jolee much, but Jolee, 8 months from now, is going to be a superstar for the raids. Any sort of PvE content. He's just any character with an AoE revive at 80% health is pretty clutch. That's pretty nice.
It's pretty sick. His kit is sick. So I mean, like, there's definitely somebody who's going to just keep testing that kit when they have him at 7 stars until they figure out how to make Jolie Bindo absolutely ridiculous. And
Oh yeah, but there's so many healers for the Jedi already. So like until we can get 7-star Jolie, for free farming, the hard nose, we have Barris, we have Luminara, we have there's a Jedi Counselor. I guess there are healing options for the Jedi already. Hermit Yoda. So I mean, you could sub people in for him. You cannot sub anybody in for Bastila. I mean, she's pretty unique in what she does. So Hans Omar von Harold Duarte. Question on the events: is there any benefit for finishing them at 3 stars, or as long as you can win, that's all that counts? I guess he's talking about like the mythic events and the legendary events and stuff like that. I don't think so. I think the same rewards for 1 to 3 star. If you 3-star the very first one, you do have the option to sim it later on. That's really the only benefit I think to it.
I mean, if they ever add the option to sim it, then yes, you'll get that benefit. But no, for right now, there's no benefit.
Rom saying put a Zeta on Poggle. Okay.
I think we do have a Zeta on Pog. I think every Zeta in this game is on.
I don't think there's Zeta on Poggle. I don't think that he has one. None of the Geonosians have them. Which is unfortunate.
None of the Geonosians have a Zeta, yeah.
But they got room for it. They got ships. So we'll see. They did give them that awesome art rework a year ago for no reason whatsoever. But I don't know.
They gave the Bears an art rework. A couple of.
They got a rework though.
Yeah, they're still unusable.
Yeah, I want to use them, but just every time I get close to considering them, something else comes out. Bastila.
I'm gonna do this crazy buff team against a Bastila team. So there's gonna be such an insane amount of buffs on both teams. Okay, and we'll see what Geonosian Spy can do. Oh,
that's pretty much.
That tenacity's crazy.
I don't really see too many other questions in the chat.
If you guys have any more questions or you have any topics you'd like to discuss, now's the time. We're going to wrap up the stream here shortly. Okay, let me see here. I want to see if we can get... Okay, let's spread these buffs out. Right now. Let's all rapid fire this attack Ezra Bridger. Yes. Steel buffs. Attack Ezra Bridger. Okay, we've gotten to Ezra Bridger's protection. But now, he taunts. Okay, let's take these buffs. Let's try to work on... Oh. See, that's the funny thing about this, is like you can't even really see like how much health anybody has because there's so many buffs.
Yeah.
You can't see like what you're actually doing. Okay, let's dispel old Ben.
Yeah, Cousin says, "Where's the Zeta Boba Fett?" Yeah, Boba Fett would be pretty tremendous in this scenario as well.
Okay.
Hans asked, "What do you think about this new team that can solo the tank?" I don't know about this new team. I guess it's behind the times here.
Yeah, you got to tell us what the team is, and then we can tell you what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can solo it with the Wampa Vader combo.
Wampinator?
Yeah, I know you can do that, which I've tried, and P1 is pretty difficult. But you can't really try it. I can't ever experiment because they have that join feature now, and as soon as the raid gets out of the join period, we Zerg it. So I get one shot to try it, and if I fail, I just lose that all P1. There very well could be some Jedi team, maybe under Bastila that could do it potentially, maybe. No tenacity. I mean, the real high tenacity, protection up. You're just gonna have to get a lot of damage. I'd imagine you'd have to have that Ezra Zeta for that.
Yes. Let's spread these buffs again. Okay, let's get Bastila down. Steal these buffs. Okay. Let's work on Grandmaster Yoda a little bit. Oh no. Let's.
Question from DSP. Darth Vader, Wampa, Gamorrean Guard, Farm Boy Luke Zeta, Tusken Shaman for TW. No. I don't think so, no.
Here goes. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 buffs. So that's 22 times 40% damage. So that's is that 880% damage? Let's see what
With a
happens.
rip.
That was pathetic. That was pathetic.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, you almost got her out though with this. So let's see if we can actually take her out here. She's almost done.
To answer your question, DSP, I think Zader would be better off paired with Palpatine, Wampa, probably with Rex, Gamorrean Guard, Farm Boy, and Tusken Shaman. You don't really need to gear those characters. Yeah, nah. Thane asks a good one. Which one of the old Republic tunes that we're getting? Let me rephrase this. Will there be a leadership on another old Republic tune that will tie
Victory!
all of them together?
By the way, we just beat a Bastila team with Geonosian Spy and Ahsoka Fulcrum.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So do you think the droid mission or the Wookiee will have a leadership ability?
No. I think that
I don't think so either.
I think they'll all be like support characters. I don't think any of them have a leader ability. I mean, we'll have to wait and see ultimately, but I really do believe that they're going to kind of be additions to other squads. I think that this is just kind of the beginning of the Old Republic tag, and as time progresses, we'll eventually get more, synergy with that at some point where there's other Old Republic characters. I think we're going to get Malik. I think we're going to get Revan, and I think that's not the. I think that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. I think there's going to be other characters from that time period that they're going to bring into the game because they're going to try to kind of avoid. I think you got to bear in mind this is a year where there is no saga film. Okay, so there's not going to be a Star Wars in December like there normally is. So they have to have something that kind of is exciting for that time of year because we're waiting until not this December but next December until we get another saga film, right? So that's when it'll get amped up again. That's when more people will start playing the game again, and you'll get new players and all this stuff. That's when they can start, boosting up their advertising. So what are they going to do in the meantime? They're probably going to have like some sort of a Revan legendary event or maybe a Malik legendary event, something in the meantime that gets us amped up to get through that season because they're not just going to have us go through December this year with nothing big happening. So there's definitely going to be some big content that comes out, and in addition to that, I'd imagine that we get some sort of a legendary event, probably for Malik and maybe even a hero's journey for Revan, because I do think that we'll get more than one version of Revan as well. I think Revan is that big of a character where we could eventually get a light side Revan and a dark side Revan, and then maybe even a Revan that is both light side and dark side. That's just my thought on it. But
they could always add. Casta was asking this before the stream. They could always add Old Republic tag to HK-47.
I think they will. Absolutely.
Maybe rework him a little bit to benefit both the faction and droids. So that would be something interesting. Okay, if you're talking about doing the same leadership ability that he gives the droids to these Old Republic characters, that's pretty nasty. Depending on the kits of these 3 we got left, that could be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
That's about it for the questions. I don't see too many more.
I think that's pretty much it. Revan will be a hero's journey, and Malik will be legendary. That's what I think too. Absolutely. I think Rom has it on the nose. How you doing, by the way, Rom? Good to see you. I think that's pretty much what we're looking at. We're probably looking at a hero's journey for Revan at some point. They're going to do something big. Okay, and it's not going to be Luke. Okay, because Luke they're saving for later. I think we'll get Return of the Jedi Luke sometime probably next year, like maybe like in the towards the end of next year, right before Star Wars Episode 9. And then eventually after that, we'll progress to Old Man Luke, the one that we got in Episode 8 and Episode 7. So we'll have to work our way up there, but I think that we're not seeing another Luke for a while. So I think that in the interim, what we're going to get is a Malak legendary event, then followed by a possible hero's journey for Revan, and that'll be cool. And then we'll probably get after that another hero's journey for Rey going into Episode 9 as well too. So you got to think about that too. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go with it, but I think that we're definitely looking at a large amount of content being released at the end of the year to kind of supplement the fact that there's not going to be any Star Wars media coming out. There's not going to be any Star Wars like movies or. I mean, the only Star Wars thing we're getting this year was Solo, and that really didn't do that well. So I mean, I'm sure Disney and Lucasfilm are going to try to get the gaming world, obviously in Battlefront we're going to be getting General Grievous and Kenobi coming into September. And then after that, I'm sure we'll get possibly a General Grievous rework in our game. So there's a lot of things they're going to do, but I think we're going to go sort of away from the current storyline, so they're going to go into the Knights of the Old Republic now and kind of work on Revan and those characters now, while there's kind of I guess a pause in the movies or the cinematic universe. And then as they get back into that, we have a new cartoon starting in the fall here. We do have a couple of live action shows that are going to be starting next year too on the Disney streaming service. So there is Star Wars content to look forward to at some point, but obviously we'll have to wait and see, in what form that is. I hope that we get something related to the Old Republic that kind of canonizes Revan and some of these characters that we've been, wanting to be canon for a long time. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody who's been out, this late with us to the stream. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of different things today. This is probably one of the longest streams we've had in a while, but I had a great time. We did a roster review. We had a Swindler's Minute in the stream. Casaspella was here as a guest. We had Josue on today. Thank you very much to our guests for appearing on the stream today. Thank you to all of you that came here and made the chat interesting and made suggestions for teams to play. We will do this again next Sunday. I will be testing more of the Jedi during the week here. Probably give you a video about Bastila and some different combinations that I can come up with. I need to do a little more testing first before I can come up with some good teams. And in the interim, if you guys want to discuss anything, if you want a roster review like Rom suggested, reach out to Maurice on Discord and he will take your information. I'm not saying that we're going to do a roster review every single week, but when we do, we'll definitely put everybody on a list and we'll try to get to them over time. But we'll definitely be providing some more content over the next few days. Again, thank you very much for all the donations today. Jared, I really appreciate that, and obviously everybody else just for being here and supporting the channel and supporting what me and Maurice do here every day. It's a lot of fun to do this, and it wouldn't be as fun if it wasn't for the ability to interact with you guys like we do here, kind of one-to-one. So, but the website has been revamped, thealliancegaming.com. So if you guys get a chance to check that out, there's actually more content on there now. I know Sparrow and Stan from the Cantina Visla podcast are being posted on there. Also, Effian does his Twitch streams, and he posts those videos on the website as well. Those are a couple of guys from the ORO cluster of the Alliance. And then we also have, our live shows going on there as well. And like I said, I have a Discord that's starting this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to that Discord on one of my videos this week, so you guys can actually get invites to come in. You're welcome to come in there and chat. I'll be posting my videos there, as well as having some chats during the week, answering any questions that anybody has. It'll be kind of a way for you guys to kind of connect with me one-on-one, and maybe type some questions in, maybe even type some questions in for the stream, so that we can kind of be a little bit more prepared with these questions when it comes to the Q&A section. So I'll probably create a little section in that Discord specifically for you guys to ask some questions that we'll compile during the week and then ask them on the stream live. And of course, we'll take questions from the chat as we normally do. But again, thank you everybody, and it was a lot of good. It was a lot of fun. May the force be with you guys, and we will see you next week on the Alliance Live Show number 57. Have a good night, guys.